The Black Alumni Reunion returned to campus this weekend. We'll hear from some graduates on their return to Ole Miss coming up.
Make sure you watch every minute, cheer on the Rebs, and hope for the best, honestly.
The Ole Miss women's basketball team has wrapped up its regular season. Now fans anxiously await the NCAA tournament selection. We'll hear from more fans on the Rebel season coming up. And Ukraine is calling for more international aid today as Western countries decide how far they are willing to go to help Ukraine. Good evening and welcome to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Sarah Gale. The Black Alumni Reunion is normally every 3 years, but the pandemic delayed its regular meeting. It came back in a big way over the weekend, and NewsWatch reporter Phoebe Kramer was there to catch up with the alumni. She joins us now from the newsroom. Phoebe?
Thanks, Sarah Gale. It was a weekend full of festivities for the Black Alumni Reunion, and even though it came a year late, it was a packed crowd. This weekend, the Ole Miss Black Alumni Reunion came back to campus for the first time since 2018. Many events allowed for alumni to get back together with their old classmates and relive their best memories.
But I actually met my husband here in Guest Hall in 2001. And, we've just had a, great relationship and built a life with 3 children, since then, so.
It's more than just a time to relive old memories. The weekend events also gave current students and alumni alike a chance to meet with Ole Miss grads from various fields to network.
Sometimes when you graduate, you do a career change and you meet other people. Last night I met a nephrologist. I met an attorney who had been an attorney for 35 years, talked to them, and then I met someone who was a Rebelette. So I talked to older people just to gather some encouragement and different stories about their time here at Ole Miss, and just meant coming together and having a good time, like I said, getting some encouragement.
The exciting weekend wrapped up with a Sunday brunch at the Inn at Ole Miss, where alumni came back together for one last time. You can find more about the Black Alumni Reunion from the Daily Mississippian, and we'll have more for you tomorrow right on here on NewsWatch. Sarah Gale?
Thanks, Phoebe. A man is in custody in connection to the Friday night shooting. Police responded to a 911 call saying that someone had been shot on Martin Luther King Drive around 11 p.m. The suspect, James Coleman Wilson, was taken into custody shortly after the incident was charged with aggravated assault. The victim was flown to Regional 1 Medical Center in Memphis and has since been released. And today, many students and families are grieving the loss of Jaden Taylor, an 11th grader from Oxford High School who died in a car crash over the weekend. Taylor was known as a friend to everyone and a valuable member to the archery and cross-country teams, and the high school decorated its walls in honor of Taylor's love for archery, with students writing messages in his memory. Oxford High School is making counselors available to students and encourages parents to reach out to them as well. Today, a mental health advocacy group, Active Minds, and University Counseling Center are honoring college students who have died by suicide. The Send Silence Packing event seeks to raise awareness for suicide prevention. Backpacks are scattered in the Honors College Great Room, each representing a college student lost to suicide. Mental health professionals and advocates will be in the Honors College until 5:30 tonight to provide mental health resources. And on campus today, there are only 5 active confirmed COVID-19 cases. Only one of these is a student, and the other 4 are staff with no active faculty cases. Statewide, there are 609 new cases from the weekend. Across the country, rising gas prices are hitting wallets hard. The national average gas price topped $4 per gallon over the weekend. In California, it is already well over $5. Mississippi is one of the cheapest states for gas, with an state average of $3.75. That's not to say that the price isn't going up in the Magnolia State. Some areas saw an increase in more than 50 cents last week. Today, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki restated the president's message on the prices spike.
He is going to do everything he can to reduce the impact on the American people, including the price of gas at the tank.
And speaking of upset customers, Family Dollar is facing multiple class action lawsuits in at least 3 states, including Mississippi, after the news of a rat infestation in the Memphis distribution center was released. Customers who filed these lawsuits accused the company of knowing, or at least say that they should have known about the infestation and the health risk it brought. But that was kept quiet due to corporate greed. Customers filing had bought items like food, diapers, medical devices, and more in the past 13 months that were all named in the voluntary recall. In better food news, the pantry is looking for a contractor to help expand Oxford's food bank. The pantry has provided food every week for the families and individuals in need for more than 40 years. Now they are seeing an increase in need as well as an increase in donations and food brokers who provide frozen and refrigerated foods. So now all they need is more space to add a walk-in freezer and refrigerator, as well as renovate its loading dock to help with larger trucks that come through. The pantry organizers say that they have the necessary funding for the renovations and that all they need is someone to carry it out. Back on campus, the annual Parade of Beauties was Saturday at the Ford Center. NewsWatch reporter Anna Caroline Barker was there and sat down with the winner.
On Saturday, the University of Mississippi hosted their annual Parade of Beauties competition, where nearly 80 contestants showcased their grace, poise, and beauty to compete for the title of Ole Miss Most Beautiful 2022.
Overwhelmed, shocked. I was not expecting that by any means. I mean, I got to the front and I was like, what do I do? But very thankful and very grateful.
Senior IMC major Anna Claire Campbell took home the crown this weekend after competing in evening gown competition and onstage question. As a representative of Ole Miss, Campbell wants to be a source of help on campus and someone to talk to, whether it be about mental health, beauty pressure, or someone who just needs a friend.
I plan to be a positive role model for other people to come to. If people have any questions or need any help, especially pertaining to this, I would be more than happy to sit them down, work with them, and give them my advice.
Anna Caroline Barker, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Campbell won't be the only new winner on campus after tomorrow night. Elections for Ole Miss Associated Student Body are open tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. to vote. Just log in to your My Ole Miss account and go to the Get Involved tab. Then click on the Vote in Student Elections once the window is open. We'll have more on ASB elections throughout the week right here on NewsWatch. While ASB candidates eagerly await the election, the Ole Miss women's basketball team is eagerly awaiting the NCAA tournament selection. It's been a quick turnaround for Coach Yo and the Rebels, and across campus, basketball fans are thrilled to watch the squad compete in the postseason. NewsWatch reporter Jason Price went to find out how fans are feeling ahead of March Madness.
Ole Miss Swish. March Madness is here, and the Lady Rebels basketball team is looking for its first NCAA tournament berth in 15 years. Local fans are praising the team and pushing for postseason perfection.
That's an amazing achievement. I think it's really good for the school and really good for the team. So
I think they can make it to the Elite Eight, at least. I think they can get pretty far.
Just lift them up and support them, and hopefully they can win March Madness.
So I think it's great that we have that representation, especially with women and on such a stage.
Just 2 years ago, the Lady Rebels didn't win a single conference game and finished the season at 7-23. This year, the squad notched 10 conference W's and finished the regular season at 22-7. With the tournament berth imminent, students are rallying around the Lady Rebels.
As a whole, try to come together and cheer them on. I bet it would be really, really important to them.
Make sure you watch every minute, cheer on the Rebs, and hope for the best, honestly.
And give them that energy, having them feeling like they have a whole school behind them as they should, supporting them.
I think as a whole school, I think you just have to be excited for that opportunity. Women's, men's, doesn't matter.
And of course, March Madness wouldn't be the same without predicting the winners.
Okay, for women's, I got Ole Miss, of course.
Purdue, sleeper team.
I'll always ride Villanova, I have to.
So maybe Seton Hall if they're in the men's.
Men's bracket, I got the Providence Friars making a very deep run into this March Madness tournament. And for the women, I'm going to go Boomer Sooner.
The men's team is preparing to compete in the SEC tournament on Wednesday. Sports Watch reporter Caleb Harris will have more on Rebel basketball coming up. President Biden's administration reaffirmed today that troops are not headed to Ukraine. But what else is the United States prepared to do? That answer is next. But first, here's a look at your current conditions.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Mom, I got it. What are you doing in there? I got slapped. Are you a dog?
I wouldn't do that. Have you seen the pliers? Where'd you find those?
It's not your birthday.
Sorry.
Bye, Grandpa. Bye, Grandpa.
Take care of yourself.
What are you doing? What are you looking for?
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? I'm high. Oh.
Times during class and I tell her to talk to him. And it's like, oh, ew.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Attacks on residential areas are ramping up in the Ukraine. The number of refugees leaving the country is now nearing 2 million, but officials say thousands of others are trapped inside Ukraine's borders. CNN's Isabel Rosales has the latest details on the world's response to Russian attacks.
As anti-war rallies mount in Russia, Russian troops push in on key Ukrainian cities. The goal? bombard cities into submission.
Дочка погибла в коляске. Меня вытащили и двух внуков вытащили из-под завалов.
On the ground, Ukraine accusing Russia of violating a ceasefire agreement to allow for civilian evacuations. A Russian airstrike in a suburb of Kyiv Sunday killed an evacuating Ukrainian family, including children.
This is murder, deliberate murder.
Ukraine's president repeatedly calling on the U.S. and NATO to establish a no-fly zone over Ukraine, both rejecting this option.
The no-fly zone, that means that if Russian planes violate the zone that's declared, we shoot them down. And that runs the considerable risk of creating a direct conflict between our countries and Russia, and thus a wider war.
The West moving to counter Russia. Along the border, an airfield is serving as a weapons hub, according to a senior Defense Department official. A senior U.S. official saying the U.S. and NATO so far supplying Ukraine with nearly 20,000 anti-tank and anti-air missiles.
God will not forgive. Not today, not tomorrow, never. And instead of forgiveness, there will be judgment.
In Washington, Isabel Rosales.
Officials have identified 3 things that the United States could do next: a ban on Russian oil imports, a declaration of Russian war crimes, and helping to transport Polish fighter jets into Ukraine. In other Ukraine news, the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute is awarding the Ronald Reagan Freedom Award to Ukraine president. According to the Institute, Vladimir Zelensky is being recognized for his courageous fight against tyranny, standing for freedom and democracy, and earning the respect of his people and other leaders by not fleeing the capital and by urging Ukrainians to resist. The Institute says he has become the face of resistance to Russia's invasion. This award is the foundation's highest civilian honor and is given to those who have made monumental and lasting contributions to the cause of freedom worldwide. Back within our borders, Vice President Kamala Harris joined the ceremonial march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, to commemorate the 57th anniversary of Bloody Sunday and spoke about voting rights. Vice President Harris said that the fight for voting rights then inspires the need for legislation like the Freedom to Vote Act now. She also called for another push to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act in Congress. Speaking of the Vice President, she announced more than $1.3 billion in funding to help the states buy electric transit buses, as well as another $17 million to help schools buy electric zero and low emission buses. The money is coming from the bipartisan infrastructure law. However, the trucking industry worries of a fast shift to zero emission vehicles because of the increased cost in the vehicles themselves, as well as the lack of charging stations for heavy-duty trucks that travel across the country.
Coming up in sports, Coach Yo and the women's basketball teams running the SEC tournament may be done, but one Rebel is showing she is still a force to be reckoned with. And find out how the Rebel softball team fared during the Ole Miss Classic over the weekend. I'll have that and more up next in sports.
On October 15, 2017, 2 words changed the course of history. The words we wrote that day are a part of a longer and even more powerful history.
The wounds become scars.
Things are changing.
We really need everyone's voices.
Today, we all have a chance to write another chapter, powered by everyday activism as simple as joining a march or reading a book, written to a permanent archive on a public blockchain.
Because it takes a sea of us coming forward to demand change.
Because no matter who you are, you can act too. The end of sexual violence begins with this next act.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Tipping things off on the hardwood, Ole Miss senior center Shakira Austin was awarded the 2022 Gillum Trophy earlier today. Since 2008, the trophy has been presented annually to the most outstanding women's basketball player in the state of Mississippi. During her time with the Rebels, Austin proved to be a valuable asset to Coach Yo's squad. The transfer from Maryland recently eclipsed the 1,000 career rebound mark to be mentioned as one of the 7 other active players in Division I basketball with 1,500 career points and 1,000 career rebounds. This is the second straight year that Austin has been a recipient of the Gillum Trophy. Keeping the action on the hardwood, Coach Kermit Davis and the men's basketball team ended their regular season with a 63-61 heartbreaking loss to Vanderbilt. Ole Miss was able to hold the lead for majority of the game behind the hot hand of junior guards Austin Crowley and Matthew Morrell. The Rebels had the chance to either tie the game or take the win at the end of regulation, but a shot attempt from James White come up just short for the Rebels. With the regular season now over, Coach Davis and his 13-seeded squad now turn their attention to the SEC tournament where they prepare for a matchup against the Missouri Tigers. Taking the action over to the Diamond, the number 2 ranked Ole Miss baseball team secured the road series against UCF after winning 2 of its 3 games. It was the first road challenge the Rebels would face, and they were able to overcome a slow start after dropping game 2. In yesterday's game against the Knights, the bats were hot for the Rebels. Coach Bianco's squad was able to find home plate 9 times and held UCF to just 1 run on the day. Ole Miss will return home to Swayze tomorrow for a pair of midweek matchups to take on the Memphis tomorrow. Keeping things on the diamond, the Ole Miss softball team went 5-0 over the weekend, defeated St. Louis twice, Western Kentucky 2-0 and 10-2, and capping off the weekend, defeating Sanford. The win against Sanford would mark softball head coach Jamie Traxel 400th career victory here at Ole Miss. Traxel is in her 11th season with the Rebels and is currently 54th in 26 at Ole Miss and 400, 210, and 1 overall. A few players to spotlight over the weekend are senior infielder Michaela Alley, going 3 for 4 while batting and also responsible for 7 of Ole Miss 10 runs on day 1. On day 2, standout is freshman RHP Caitlin Riley and her career day in the circle against Sanford, allowing 3 hits on 25 batters. And now for some national news. WNBA star Brittany Griner has been arrested in Russia on drug charges. Russia Customs officially say the Phoenix Mercury superstar had vape cartridges containing hashish oil in her luggage. Hashish or hash oil is a marijuana concentrate that has a high concentrate of THC. In Russia, that could carry a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison. Griner's arrest in Russia comes at one of the most dangerous times in the U.S. and Russian relations due to the war that is currently going on between Russia and Ukraine. That's all I've got for sports. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at rebel_watch for the latest sports updates.
Thanks, Caleb. Breakfast time may be long gone, but today is the perfect day for breakfast for dinner, or just pour a bowl of cereal to snack on. Find out why coming up next on NewsWatch.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
If you had a bowl of cereal this morning for breakfast, congratulations, you've celebrated National Cereal Day. Cereal has been a breakfast staple in America for over 100 years, but cereal isn't just a good breakfast food, it makes for a great snack too. So whether you're a cereal then milk person, a milk then cereal person, or just skip the milk altogether, tonight is the perfect night to pour yourself a bowl. What's your favorite cereal, Caleb?
Gotta go with Frosted Flakes. What about you, Phoebe?
I don't really know. I don't have a favorite, but my least favorite is Raisin Bran. I know.
Raisin Bran?
Yeah, I don't like raisins.
That's kind of blasphemous, don't you think?
I don't know. That's all we have for tonight. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm Sarah Gale. You can find us on social media at NewsWatch Ole Miss for the latest on Ole Miss and beyond. Thank you and good night.